The sixth question. Tell me about the most valuable feedback, criticism you've ever received. I was one day discussing life with a retired U.S. Navy SEAL who fought in the Vietnam War. And I was talking about my various studies. He was asking how the University of Kentucky was going. And I had mentioned that I enjoy the classes, but I didn't feel like many of the things we were learning in class were translating to reality. And I basically threw down the idea of theory, and he criticized me for that. He said that there were many hardships that he faced as being a U.S. Navy SEAL, and when all else failed, if he didn't know what to go and rely back on, then he would not be able to accomplish the task that he was performing. And the way that he was discussing this really opened my eyes, and now I look at my work and theory in a different light so that I can become a more well-rounded person. The seventh question. Tell me about a time where you initiated change in an organization. I initiated change in an organization at J. Crew when I was working as sales support and sales associate. Every morning I would come in around 8:30 in the morning, and there would be a list of tasks that we needed to complete. There were only 2 or 3 of us workers, and sometimes getting to all the tasks was a difficult challenge. However, we needed all of these tasks to be accomplished by 1 o'clock, because that's when the customers would come in, that's when things would start getting a little more busy. What I did was I sat down with our assistant manager and manager and talked about the different tasks on the list and said, I propose this idea that we should do these things in this particular order and have people placed in certain areas of the store so that we can accomplish everything. Once we integrated that change, we slowly began making progress and slowly began completing all of those tasks in a timely manner. Eighth question. Tell me about a time you persuaded a senior person to adopt your perspective on an issue. I've had a good amount of conversations with my Champs manager, Andy, who I referred to earlier. He has been working for Champs for about 20 years or so, and he knows the ins and outs of the company. Being a high school student at the time and working with a lot of high school students at Champs, I felt that there was not an efficient system going on and that Andy may not know completely how to interact with his employees. So I talked to him about the different approaches to talking to the employees and making sure that everything is done correctly and efficiently. And I said that I believe he needed to give them more space instead of being very hard on them, because they are high school students. They will want to go out, talk to their friends, whoever is in the store, but then in the end, after that, they will make sure they get their things done. And I believe that worked, and I persuaded him to look at things a little differently, and I believe that there was a positive change after we had that conversation. The ninth question. How would you evaluate whether a deal or project is good for our company? For Patagonia, I know that Patagonia really likes to maintain quality, environmental sustainability, a positive work environment. When it comes to a deal or project, I believe that deal or project has to align with these values and the mission statement of Patagonia, so that any progress or any results from the project will help progress Patagonia. I believe that any type of deal must include benefits for Patagonia as well as benefits for whoever is on the other side of the deal. I believe that Patagonia is here to make a positive change in the environment and in society, and that profit is not the number one goal in the company, but it is also a factor that needs to be addressed. 10. What business periodicals do you read? What have you found to be some of the current business trends? I typically read the Wall Street Journal as well as Yahoo Finance articles. Wall Street Journal shows what's going on Wall Street, in New York City, and has the bigger players in the stock market. I believe that knowing about the hub of finance in the United States, and with the United States having a major influence on the rest of the world, it is important to know what is going on in our economy. At the same time, I read Yahoo Finance for the smaller, minute details of what's going on in the economy, as well as hearing what political changes are and how they relate to the economy. For instance, Donald Trump is now the president. There are pipelines being built. The EPA is no longer a central figure in environmental sustainability. And I believe that knowing these things and adapting is crucial in your work, because it affects not only the department but the company as a whole. Thank you.